I want to clear the air for just a second, because you've had this thing this past week that happened once upon a time in Shaolin. There's been the LP that's being auctioned for $1 million, right?
Yes.
RZA said that after someone buys it, they won't be able to release it commercially for 88 years. XXL Magazine apparently, reports that you said, I'm tired of the shit and I know everybody else is tired of it too. Fuck that album. If that's what they are doing, I haven't heard anything like that, but if they're doing crap like that, fuck that album. Keep it straight 100. I'm just keeping it that way. They go on to quote you as saying that it should be given away for free. And then RZA tweeted in response, let us clarify for you, 88-year non-commercialization clause means corporations can't buy it and mass produce it for sell. Then you posted an Instagram of XXL Magazine implying that they misquoted you. Is that?
I didn't say they misquoted me. I should have been more clear about it. What happened was I was misinformed by Miranda Johnson at XXL, who did the interview. Shame on you, Miranda. She started, out of the 10 minutes that I spoke to her, I say 1 minute and 30 seconds was dedicated to what you just saw there as far as that. And the information that she gave me was, no one will be able to hear this album for 88 years. That's sooner, I'm like, really, what? Because I had no idea. I was, if RZA had been on point as far as keeping us in the loop with the album, that probably would have never have happened. Those answers would have never came out that way if I had had a clear conversation with RZA on what was going on. Then to find out that RZA hadn't even known about it up until, I guess, the announcement, days before the announcement was made or whatever, but we still were unaware of it. She took advantage of that by giving me half information, right? So be it. I live by the quote, I said it, it's there, okay. But what happened to the other 8 minutes of the interview about the cobbler and other things that I was doing as far as the business? That interview, that portion of the interview went up no later than 2 hours after I said it.
Really?
And the
so
rest
they dropped that one thing and then let
the rest of the interview go to dust. I think they had one line dedicated to the cobbler in that part of the, we'll have more on the cobbler, Method Man's acting, next interview or whatever. It was done as one interview in 10 minutes. So for her to separate it and say, no, this is the story we're doing, hey, if she could have told me that, because I called and asked to speak to her and she was gracious enough to take the call, thank you. If she would have just said that when we were on the phone, done issue. There wouldn't be a XXL Instagram picture up there or anything like that. But she kind of insulted my intelligence saying, no, we put the whole interview up there. No, you didn't. I'm looking at it. And you telling me that the whole idea was to put 2 different interviews up? No, I did one interview and you were supposed to put that whole interview up. You chose to do it this way. You basically did some underhanded bullshit to me. And this is the reason why I don't like doing interviews for anything hip-hop as far as magazines go.
Really?
Because they are the bloodsuckers of the culture, if you ask me. They're the reason why a lot of this crap that's coming out now flies, because they co-sign it, and what the people don't understand is they're paid
what kind
to
of
co-sign
crap?
it.
Like creating beef, kind of basically between all the
Creating
artists?
beefs. With that East-West crap, Vibe has to take a lot of. They should have got a bullet.
Wow.
They should have got a bullet instead of Pac or Big.
You think Vibe exacerbated the situation?
When they put that cover up with Big and Puff on there, when Big took that picture, he didn't take that picture thinking East versus West. He took a picture thinking, I'm going to be on the cover of Vibe. What came after is what solidified East-West beef for all the dumb motherfuckers around that don't know how to think for themselves. Maybe they just don't like West Coast people, maybe they just don't like East Coast people, but that fueled the fire.
Was Hit 'Em Up before or after that magazine cover, though? Because I listened to Hit 'Em Up the other day.
Hit 'Em Up came out before, I believe. But Pac even said himself, you guys injected yourselves into a beef. It was just between me and Bad Boy. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. He said it himself. So for the magazine to take liberties like that, which brings me back to what's her name? Miriam, whatever her name.
XXL.
Yeah, Johnson. For her to take Miranda to take liberties like that, and half the people that aren't that intelligent are going to see that for what? Hey, man, what?
Yeah.
What? And RZA, the same way I got the question out of context, he got my article out of context. Because first thing he sees is, fuck that album. Rolling Stone put it right up.
Did he call
I got
you?
a text message from him.
What did it say?
It said, just to clarify things for you, and he told me what it really was about. I can't go verbatim what it was, but he told me basically what it was about, and I gave him my answer. I gave him my answer back about, well, if you read the article, you'll see that I didn't know anything about anything. And if anything, it's you and Cilvaringz' fault for not keeping us in the loop. So stuff like this can't happen. Can't stand Cilvaringz, by the way. It's something about, and I don't like to say B, Wu-Tang artists, those that B-level, those B-level dudes and stuff, because Killer Army, Sons of Man weren't B-level dudes to me. That's family. They were actually family to us. But then you got these other guys that are making moves under the flag, and they're doing BS stuff under the name of the flag. And people are thinking that that's associated with us, so we must be whack too. This dude with the whole, all right, I get the whole work of art thing. When we did it, he paid us to do the songs on that record as individuals, which he was supposed to do, because, you know, this is RZA's protege. But you're not RZA. You're going to pay us for our labor. Paid us for it. It wasn't no Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, and it was just, you know, records here, get on this record. Then it turns into Once Upon a Time in Shaolin. Then it turns into a piece of art and the whole thing. So at first I'm like, all right, well, I'm scratching my head at first. All right, well, okay, cool. I guess, you know, they're gonna make it a piece of art. That's brilliant. I've never seen that done before. And with the fact that albums aren't selling the way they are, you give them one copy, great. Then when this whole, I just got tired. I got tired of the questions about the album and not being in the know about what's going on, the day-to-day things with this whole. So
you're being expected to answer questions that you don't really have the answer.
Exactly. So when Miranda hit me with the 88 years thing, it's like I'm about fed up with this now. All right, just F that album. F it. If that's what they're doing, F it. I'm tired of the gimmicks. And when somebody, it's never us coming with the gimmicks. It's always somebody on the outside, a B Wu guy or somebody like that coming with some crap that's just so gimmicky. It's like, it makes you scratch your head and say, why Wu-Tang? When it's not Wu-Tang. It's just one individual thinking he knows what's best and just doing weird stuff, man. I just think it's just crazy weird. And yes, I'm discrediting Cilvaringz, but I'm not discrediting the product. I'm just discrediting him and the way he made his move, you know? I dug it at first, but when they start doing the whole 88-year thing and not explaining it to people, because there are a lot more dumb people than smart people, to a lot of people it sounded like 88 years, we ain't gonna be able to hear this album.
How many hip-hop magazines do you think are gonna quote you discrediting Cilvaringz right now and put that up?
They probably will, because that's the only way they're gonna get a quote from me in the future now anyway.
You're done?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm hanging it up. Hip-Hop D, I'm not gonna name my name, but they know who they are. They know who they are, and don't come ask me for nothing.
I have to go back. I have to go back and ask you about this, because this is so interesting. When you said Vibe should have taken a bullet too, how did Wu-Tang stay out of the? It's such old news, but it's so fascinating that we got to it. How did Wu-Tang stay out of the East Coast West Coast beef? I mean, because you were doing stuff with Biggie, you were doing tracks with Biggie, but how did you guys generally stay out of it?
People loved us. We had love all over from East, West, and plus we were out in California before, while we were recording out in California when all this shit was going on, so people were seeing us out in LA every day. And even when Big got shot and everybody was catching flights back to New York and all that, we were living in the Oakwoods. We were still out there, you know what I'm saying? But I think it was the fact that real recognized real, and the real brothers knew there wasn't no East Coast, West Coast thing. It was this against that. Bad Boy, Death Row, however you want to put it. Before it was even Death Row, Bad Boy, Tupac, whatever. And they, you know, real respect, real. So when they seen us, we out in the street, ain't no security or nothing, it's just us. You know, it's like, oh, all right, bros, it's real right there. You know what I'm saying? So even if they did have any kind of East Coast, West Coast thing going through their head, it was immediately dispelled when they seen us.